Okay, this is my 2008 WWE Cyber Sunday review. Uh, just to warn you, I have a real lot to talk about, not so much time. This is definitely going to be a two-part review, maybe three. This part right here is discussing only the first four matches, so if you have no interest, you might as well just watch part two where I talk about the main events. So I'm going to get right into it. The first match was between Kane and Mysterio, and it was a pick-the-match type. You could either choose no holds barred, best 2 out of 3 falls, and or falls count anywhere. And the falls count anywhere, no holds barred are pretty much the same match. Only one you have to pin the guy in the ring. It's that simple. No holds barred was picked. I predicted it would be a falls count anywhere. I was wrong. It was basically a regular match with a little bit of hardcore in it. I think Ray started off the match, hitting Kane in the head with a can-do stick. Then he brought out a stop sign and was going to hit Kane, but Kane kicked Mysterio. There was only a few good points of the match. There was one part where Kane had Mysterio tied up around the turnbuckle. It looked like it hurt. I'm sure it did. Kane pretty much dominated the first half of the match. Ray finally started to come back. And then just as he was coming back, Ray gave him this monstrous boot to the head and went to go choke slam him. Ray countered the choke slam 10 times. This happened. This was the whole match. The whole match was Ray countering Kane's choke slam. He would put Kane into the position for the 619. Kane would come up, reverse the 619, go for the choke slam. He would get him down again for the 619. He reversed it, and so on and so forth. This was the match. This was all there was. And eventually, Ray would hit the 619, and he won the match. It was... If you thought the last match at the last pay-per-view was bad, this was even worse. This was a really bad match. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. I think I'm being overly generous here. Because it really was not a good match. Not for a starter. If you're going to start off... You think about it. You have the hardcore match... which is no holds barred is potentially a hardcore match in essence. This could go anywhere. I mean, this has the potential to really wow the crowd and really set the tone for the rest of the night. And they did not nail it. I just think they just can't work well together. I think that's the big problem. I think if Kane was feuding with someone else, maybe if it was like a guy like Cody Rhodes or someone, I think maybe this would be a lot better. But it's not working. Because if you think about it, the only attacks Ray could land on Kane, because he's such a small guy, he can't suplex him. He can only kick him. He had the body kicks, the stuff like that. Basically, you didn't miss anything. It was a bad match. And that was just start off match. I predicted Rey Mysterio would win, and he did. But I thought it would be because someone would interfere. If you go back to my other blog in my own in my own twisted world, I had Imposter Kane coming back, but that didn't happen, and I really didn't expect it to happen, so no worries. So once again, it was a no-holds-barred match. Rey Mysterio won, and I gave the match a 4.5 out of 10, being generous. Okay, second match was Matt Hardy versus the opponent of your choice. You could choose between Evan Bourne, Mark Henry, or Finlay. I had predicted Finlay would be picked. He obviously wasn't. Evan Bourne was picked. This was my... I don't get sci-fi on my cable provider. They took away the sci-fi channel, so I have never seen I have not seen ECW. So this is my first time seeing Evan Bourne, and I was surprised. He's a high flyer. I mean, the whole match was high-flying and fast-paced. I was impressed. I really was. Bourne landed this one. He did a stand-in moonsault. Okay, he did a backflip off the top rope onto Matt Hardy. He was just full of these moves. Really impressive. Hardy, the thing was, Hardy looked like he's a veteran. And that's what I liked about him. I never seen this side of Hardy before, where he really dominated the match. Even though he wasn't dominating, you could tell he was in control. He was slamming them. He was doing all these submissions. there was a ton of times where Hardy tried doing his finishers, but he reversed the Splash Mountain. Bourne was really reversing all of Hardy's big moves. And then Bourne went for his really cool shooting star press right off the top rope. There's a backflip in midair, but he missed it. Hardy got out of the way, and then a few things happened. Then Hardy wound up landing the Twist of Fate and won the match after he landed the Twist of Fate, and then he reversed a Bourne's roll up and won the match. Compared to the Kane match, this was a treat. It really helped it. I think in contrast to the Kane match, this match got boosted up. It really wasn't that good of a match. Well, it was an okay match. Seeing the athleticism was really cool. I've never seen Evan Bourne before, like I said, so I was really impressed. And this match, the second match, is gonna get. Oh, I predicted that Finlay would get picked and that he would win. He didn't, and Evan Bourne won. So that was another wrong prediction on my half. And I gave this match a 6.5 out of 10, which I think it would have been I would have been more inclined to give it a 7 out of 10. You know, it sounds cheap, but maybe if he landed that shooting star press, I think that would have really set the match a little over the top. That would have been really good, but he didn't. So that's that. Okay, the third match was the Pick the Tag Team match. I said it before. I was not looking forward to this match. It wound up being they chose Miz and Morrison versus Crymetime. I thought it was going to be Punk and Kingston versus DiBiase and his partner, but I was wrong. It was Miz and Morrison versus Crymetime. Honestly, all it was your basic Monday Night Raw match. Nothing special, not pay-per-view quality. It was a basic match, and I expected it to be a basic match. Miz and Morrison tried to, they did all their cheap moves. When he was going to pin the guy, he had his foot on the ropes and breaking up stuff. They did like illegal double team moves. It was a basic match. I gave it a 5 out of 10. Once again, I was wrong with my prediction. I had CM Punk win in the match, but he wasn't even in the match, so how can he win? Okay, we move on to the fourth match. This was the disappointment of the night, easily. It was Santino Marella IC champion match. Your choices were you could choose his opponent. It could either be the Honky Tonk Man, Goldust, or Rowdy Piper. Before the match, actually, in my predictions, I said Goldust would get picked and Goldust would win. That didn't happen. Honky Tonk Man was picked. Before the match, I got to give Santino a lot of credit. He is funny. He's really funny on the mic, and he cut a really good promo. He started dissing the town. He dissed Shaquille O'Neal, and then on the Titantron, Shaquille's in the stands, and Santino's like, "All right, moving on." It was pretty funny. You had to see it. It was good though. He's really good on the mic. So Honky Tonk Man was picked. He comes down, and they do a dance off, which was pretty funny. And then so they do a dance off, and then as Santino is doing his really funny dance, he lands a cheap shot on Honky Tonk Man. And then the match just goes down from there. That wasn't even. I'm not even grading the match. I think if I had to grade the promo, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. It was really funny. I thought the match itself went down like this. After he landed the cheap shot, they went back and forth. It couldn't have been no more than 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes, and Beth just got Santino disqualified. That was it. I mean, she pulled as Honky Tonk Man was going off the rope. She pulled his leg and he fell down, and she got Marella disqualified. And Santino and Beth just started to argue and fight. He's like, "You stupid woman!" It was pretty funny that he was yelling at her, but that was it. That was the match. And at the end, all three legends came and beat up Marella. But the match. I think this is being way too generous. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I took into account the promo that he cut before the match, and I thought it was pretty funny. But it was a 2 out of 10. Okay, I'm gonna have to move on to a part 2. I really hope you guys listen, because that's where the meat of the night comes in. That's where the really good matches are, and that's where the better review is. So I hope you watch part 2.